Hey everyone! Before we dive into this story, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more exciting content like this. The celebration for my brother Ethan's promotion was unfolding in the luxurious penthouse suite of the Meridian Hotel. At 35, he'd just earned the title of partner at Sterling and Cole, one of the city's most renowned law firms, the youngest partner they'd named in 10 years. Dad beamed with pride, sweeping his hand across the room packed with lawyers, judges, and corporate bigwigs. "This is what triumph looks like," he declared. "A partner at a top-tier firm. That's real accomplishment." I took a sip of my champagne and gave a small nod. This narrative wasn't new. I'd heard versions of it my whole adult life. Ethan was the golden child, the one who made all the right moves, the one with a real career. "Riley, you made it." Ethan appeared, his fiancée, Lauren, at his side, both dressed flawlessly. "I wasn't sure you'd show, with that website project you're always tinkering with." "Wouldn't miss your big night," I replied, pulling him into a hug. "Congrats on the partnership." "Thanks, sis. Come on, let me introduce you to some folks." He guided me toward a cluster of his colleagues. "Everyone, meet my younger sister, Riley. She does some tech stuff, mostly from home." "Pleasure to meet you," said a senior partner named Harold. "What kind of tech work do you do?" "I founded a fintech company called Payflow," I explained. "We provide payment processing solutions for e-commerce platforms." "Oh, one of those startup ventures," Harold said with a hint of condescension. "My cousin's into that too, makes apps or something. Never quite got the hang of it." Ethan chuckled. "Riley's been at her laptop gig for, 6 years? Still waiting for it to hit the big time." What they didn't know, what Ethan never thought to ask, was that Payflow had already soared. We handled over $40 billion in transactions each year, serving 8 of the top 20 global e-commerce platforms. Our revenue last quarter? $127 million. What they really didn't know was that 3 months ago, a group of private equity firms had offered to buy a majority stake in Payflow. The deal finalized 2 weeks ago, valuing the company at $2.8 billion. My 47% ownership was now worth $1.316 billion. And what absolutely no one in that room knew was that in just 3 hours and 42 minutes, at midnight, Forbes would release their annual list of self-made billionaires under 40. I was ranked number 7, the youngest woman on the list at 32. "So you're basically jobless, right?" a young associate named Connor quipped with a smirk. "Living the dream in sweatpants." "Something like that," I responded calmly. Mom appeared beside me, her face etched with worry. "Riley, sweetheart, Ethan and Lauren are looking at homes in Westchester. 3 bedrooms, lovely area. Maybe it's time you thought about settling down, getting a steady job." "I have a steady job, Mom," I said. "I mean a real job. Honey," she pressed, "with a company, benefits, a 401k, a clear career path." "Ethan, tell them about the Henderson case." Dad called out. Ethan launched into a tale about representing a Fortune 500 company in a high-stakes merger. The room hung on his every word, clearly impressed by his expertise and network. This was the usual script. Ethan's achievements were spotlighted, dissected, and celebrated. My work? It was a side note, a pastime, something I did while waiting to get serious. "She just sits at home on her computer," I overheard Ethan say to a group by the bar. "I keep telling her to join the firm. Our legal marketing team could use someone like her." I glanced at my watch. 9:17 p.m. 2 hours and 43 minutes to go. Lauren approached, holding a glass of wine. "Riley, I've been meaning to ask, are you still single? I know a guy in IT at my company. You two might click. He's got a solid job, great benefits." "I'm good for now," I said. "I'm focused on my business." "Your little project," she said with a patronizing smile. "But you have to plan for the future. What happens if it doesn't work out? You're 32. You need stability." My phone vibrated. A text from my CFO, Marcus. "Forbes confirmed midnight publish. PR team's ready. Your phone's about to blow up. Enjoy their reactions." I smiled and slipped the phone back into my pocket. "What's so funny?" Ethan asked, joining us. "Just work stuff," I said. "Work?" he echoed, making air quotes. "Riley, when are you going to get a real job? Dad's got connections. He can get you an interview at his firm's corporate office." I don't need Dad's connections, I said softly. Pride doesn't pay the bills, Ethan replied. Look at me, I'm killing it. Partner at 35. Lauren's a senior manager. We're buying a house, planning a wedding, building real wealth. What are you building from your couch? You'd be surprised, I said. A judge named Patricia Coleman joined our group. Ethan, congrats again on partner. Your parents must be thrilled. They are, Ethan grinned. My little sister's still finding her way, but she'll figure it out someday. What do you do, Riley? Patricia asked politely. I run Payflow, a payment processing company for e-commerce platforms, I said. Payflow. Her eyes widened. I know that name. Last year, I handled a case involving payment disputes, and Payflow was cited as the gold standard for security and reliability. Thank you, I said. We put a lot of effort into our security systems. Wait, you run Payflow, she asked. That's a major player. They process billions. Over $40 billion a year, I confirmed. Ethan let out a nervous laugh. Billions? Riley, come on. I'm not exaggerating, I said evenly. Payflow supports over 800 e-commerce platforms worldwide. Our top 20 clients each process over $1 billion annually through us. If that were true, we'd have heard about it, Lauren said, waving a hand. You're hearing it now, Patricia said, eyeing me. Payflow's a big deal in fintech. My son's in venture capital. He mentioned Payflow just got a huge investment. We were acquired, actually, I said, 2 weeks ago by a private equity group. The deal valued Payflow at $2.8 billion. The room went silent. Ethan's face drained of color. Dad's champagne flute froze midair. $2.8 billion? Mom whispered faintly. I own 47% of the company, I continued. So my stake's worth about $1.3 billion. Give or take a few million based on earnouts. You're a billionaire? Ethan choked out. As of 2 weeks ago, yes. This is ridiculous, Lauren said. If you were a billionaire, it'd be all over the news. I checked my watch, 10:28 p.m. 1 hour and 32 minutes. It will be, I said. Forbes is publishing their self-made billionaires under 40 list at midnight. I'm number 7. Connor, the associate who'd mocked me, dropped his glass. It shattered on the marble floor. You're on the Forbes billionaire list? Dad asked, struggling to process. I found out 3 weeks ago, I said. They've been verifying my financials. The article goes live at midnight. Ethan sank into a chair. How? How do we not know? Because you never asked, I said simply. For 6 years, you've introduced me as the sister who does something with tech. You've called my company a hobby, a side project, a startup that hasn't made it. You've told me to get a real job at least 47 times. Not once did you ask about my revenue, my clients, my growth, or my business model. We thought, Mom began, then stopped. You thought I was failing because I didn't fit your idea of success, I finished. No law degree, no corner office, no power suits. I work from home in comfy clothes, so you assumed I wasn't serious. Patricia stared at me with admiration. Payflow redefined payment security. Your encryption system set the industry benchmark. Every fintech conference I've been to in the last 3 years names Payflow as a trailblazer. Thank you, I said. I have an amazing team. Why didn't you tell us? Ethan demanded, his voice rising. Why let us think you were barely getting by? I wasn't barely getting by, I said. You assumed I was. I told you I ran a payment processing company. I mentioned signing major clients. I talked about going global. You heard me, but dismissed it because it didn't match your version of success. Your version? Lauren snapped. That Ethan's the star and I'm the failure, I said plainly. That's been the family narrative for 6 years. Ethan, the brilliant lawyer. Riley, the one who hasn't figured it out. That's not fair, Dad protested. Isn't it? Last Thanksgiving, Ethan shared he was up for partner. You raised a glass, called him a genius, said you were so proud. I mentioned Payflow had just partnered with Amazon. You said, that's nice, and asked Ethan more about his promotion. The memory lingered, undeniable. At Christmas, I went on. I tried to tell you we processed over $10 billion in transactions that year. Mom suggested I consider law school. It's not too late, she said. You're smart enough. Mom's eyes welled up. I was trying to help. You were trying to fix something that wasn't broken, I said softly. My career was fine. It just didn't look like Ethan's, so you thought it was worth less. My phone buzzed, 11:47 p.m. Early alerts from West Coast colleagues who'd seen the Forbes preview. 13 minutes, I said. The article's going live. Your phones are about to light up with notifications. People you know will read about Ethan's billionaire sister. Brace yourselves. Jesus, Ethan muttered, running his hands through his hair. Connor stepped forward hesitantly. I'm sorry for that unemployed jab earlier. It was stupid and rude. Apology accepted, I said. Patricia spoke cautiously. Why come tonight, Riley? If you knew this news was dropping, if you knew it might steal Ethan's spotlight, why show up? Because he's my brother, I said simply. I'm proud of him for making partner. That's a huge accomplishment, earned through hard work and commitment. My success doesn't take away from his. Ethan looked at me, and for the first time in years, I saw raw emotion in his eyes. I've been a jerk, he said quietly. Yes, I said you have. I'm sorry. I appreciate that. At 11:58 p.m., phones started buzzing. The news was breaking. Forbes has her listed, someone said. Riley Chin, Payflow founder. Net worth $1.3 billion. At midnight, every phone erupted. Forbes, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal. Youngest woman on Forbes billionaire list. Payflow founder worth $1.3 billion. The room's vibe shifted. Suddenly, everyone wanted to talk to me. Harold, who'd scoffed at my startup, said, Miss Chin, I apologize. I had no idea how massive your company was. No worries, I said. I glanced at Ethan, standing alone, staring at his phone. I walked over. Sorry your party got taken over. Don't be, he said. My sister's a billionaire. You've outdone anything I'll ever achieve. Success isn't a competition, I said. You made partner at 35. I built Payflow. Different journeys, same pride. I mocked you, he said softly. Called your company a hobby. I was wrong. You didn't know because you didn't ask, I said. But you can ask now. I want to, he said. I want to understand what you've created. Mom and Dad approached, shell-shocked. We owe you an apology, Dad said. Mom was crying. We clung to outdated ideas of success. We were wrong. I forgive you, I said. But I needed your support when things were uncertain. Not now that Forbes has validated it. You're right, Dad said. We should have believed in you from the start. The party became about me. People asked about fintech, my business, my journey. At 2 a.m., Ethan found me on the balcony. Thank you, he said, for showing up, for not gloating, for still treating me like family. You'll always be my brother, I said. Coffee next week? I'd like that. Weeks later, at a cozy cafe, Ethan sat across from me with a notebook. He asked about Payflow's tech, our encryption, our innovations. I explained. He listened intently. This is incredible, he said. I'm sorry I didn't ask sooner. You're asking now, I said. That's what counts. My little project had grown into a billion-dollar empire, but the real victory wasn't the wealth or recognition. It was this moment sitting with my brother, finally seen, finally understood. Success comes in many forms. The truest is the one you carve out for yourself, and the one your family finally embraces.